What's up, everybody? Welcome in to, of course, the PHNX Suns finale watch along against the Sacramento Kings. Here to watch Mason Plumlee ball. Woo! I do have big time apologies to give out. This one's on me, coach. This one's on me, y'all. I forgot to read the super chats in pregame because I'm just the worst. So I will read Steven's because Steven is here. And once I see Mario, Not Bros 2, and Emilio, once y'all jump in here, I will also be reading those. Steven says, the last pregame before we get Daddy Girth. How you feel about that, Gerald? Gerald has his headphones in, locked in, re-listening to the Mark Stein interview. That is true. The last pregame.
Yeah, low key.
Before Girth becomes Daddy Girth.
Low key.
I don't know if I'm going to say Daddy Girth. I don't know if I like that, personally. Mario Not Bros 2 is here. Says, do we see a Shams locker room report after the game again? None of the guys are there. So probably not. Book, Katie, Beal, all not out there in Sacramento. So unless Mason Plumlee is leading the charge, yeah, probably not. Emilio, if you're in here, I'm going to read yours. I'm so sorry, Emilio. Says, finals week already on the wrong foot with that lineup. Yeah, on the wrong foot with Mason Plumlee in the lineup is just absolutely insane. But we appreciate all of you insane people, lovingly. Psychos
insane among other
and
things.
sickos. Steven, how you feeling about Mason Plumlee hours?
No. Absolutely not. That's my answer. It makes no sense, nor should it have been the decision made in game 82 of a season that you have no postseason implications for.
Maria says, is it not weird that they didn't even travel with the team to show their bench support, ready for the season to end?
No, I've seen it happen before. Usually it's with teams that are in the actual playoffs, so their best players are at home resting or getting treatment needed to get ready for obviously the grind that is the 16-game season being the actual playoffs. Haven't really seen it in this scenario before, but it didn't really make me bat an eye just because of the way that this season's gone. Nothing really makes sense.
And KD hasn't been with the team since his injury, and he's definitely been saying some things online that we'll be getting to in our post-game show. But need me a Ryan Dunn 30 ball, not just for Espo's bet, but just for my life. And I need more Oso Ighodaro minutes. I do not understand why Mason Plumlee is playing, man. Okay, so we've seen some pretty weird performances today and just in general in the final NBA games. Who do you think is going to be the Alec Peters, Jamal Crawford special? Maybe it's Colin Gillespie who leads the team in scoring.
I hope it's Ryan Dunn, but maybe could be Colin Gillespie. I can see it. Kings don't play much of any defense. Should be plenty of opportunity for anybody that decides to look at the basket to put the ball in there.
Yeah.
3-ball from Sabonis.
Oh, my God. A 3-ball from Sabonis. We're done. Psycho Blue with a $5 super chat. Thanks, Psycho Blue. Says, damn, why did Stein make it sound like our franchise is in the defecating goats state of front office guys wanting to come here?
Well, yeah, that's tough, especially if they burn the Booker bridge by a trade. I understand where he was coming from when he mentioned that part in particular. And to your point, you also mentioned that's like your last call in terms of that particular dynamic of having trust with the player. Can't burn that bridge. If you do, it's GG's for real for quite some time.
Well, and I saw somebody in the chat, and I forget who it is, so apologies. But they asked, why are you still trying to work with KD? Right? Like, why would you want that?
Well, if the desire is to actually win, there's not going to be much of a better route to building a roster that you can win with than to keep Kevin
But even
Durant
if you're like
with
working
Devin
with him
Booker.
on a trade, not like trying to work to rehabilitate, but work on a trade with him, why would you work with him on where he wants to go? I have an answer, but I'm curious your thoughts.
Because he's Kevin Durant. Again, you don't burn these bridges with veteran all-time level players because there is a direct response as Sabonis is down rolling his ankle.
Oh, geez.
There's a direct response that comes from that in terms of the perception that your franchise gets from players around the league. Seen a little bit of it in terms of the discourse around the Phoenix Mercury on the WNBA side with how they handled the trading of Natasha Cloud. WNBA champion, one of the better point guards in WNBA history, has a great rapport with a ton of the league as well. Not saying that she's Kevin Durant, but I'm saying that when you have these veteran players that have a level of respect, there's some reverence about them across the league. If you burn that bridge in a way that doesn't seem just or right, that's going to come with consequences.
Yeah, I also think that when you are in the business that Matt Ishbia is in, which has been, we're going to try to win. We're going to try to be a destination for stars. Oh, I need a Mason Plumlee 3 if he's going to start. No way. No way. Air ball. Fuck you, man. Oh, my God. Why are you even playing?
You asked for it.
I didn't ask for shit.
You asked for that 3 right there. What you talking about?
I'm tweeting Mason Plumlee air ball better than Oso Ighodaro.
That's tough.
Minutes.
I am curious who's going to lead the Suns in scoring in this one. You see a little bit of the Ryan Dunn growth points that we were speaking to in post game on Saturday or Friday rather.
Mm-hmm.
Getting downhill, not just to score all the time and not just a straight line drive, a little bit of a Euro step to evade a help defender. Reads the next layer of help, makes the corner kick to Grayson Allen. Those are all very good reads in process. And if he can get to that point where he's doing that consistently, we're talking about a player that can be extremely viable to a team that's contending or hopes to contend.
Yeah,
least.
Really looking to how young buck Mason Plumlee develops his game tonight. I think that he might have a bright future in this league. So would just absolutely love to see him work on his game. Love that he's trying to develop a 3-point shot. Love that he's matching up against Sabonis, who already, by the way, has 5 points. Just an awesome decision from Mike Budenholzer, giving the fans what they want, giving the fans what they deserve after showing up for this awful season. Let's play Mason Plumlee ball. Grayson Allen with a 3.
Not mad at it.
Mario Not Bros 2 says we also love Tyus minutes as he's the point guard of our future.
Zach LaVine is on a heater already.
Tyus is, you promise him the starting lineup, and at the start and the end of the season he was starting.
Start there. Promising rotation spots
to anybody, let alone a career backup point guard.
That's it. That's all I got right there.
Yeah.
You said it all.
Was that really the first sign? As Keon Ellis blocks Grayson Allen.
It was for me. I know you're desperate, and I know you have to make desperate calls because you're in a desperate situation to check off a box. But you already had 2 point guards on your roster. I'm not saying the Suns couldn't use Tyus. Obviously they could. He's better than Monte or Colin. But why promise a starting spot? I don't think that starting lineup needed a negative defender as well as somebody else that's going to take the ball out of Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant's hands, because those 3 already do that themselves.
Ryan Dunn bricks a 3. The lineup today, and I know you're not a big Bol Bol fan, but the lineup today should have been.
It's not even that. I don't know where that whole not being a Bol Bol fan thing came from. I think it probably came from his stance.
So would you say you are a Bol Bol fan?
No, I'm saying I'm someone that I'm not a fan of any particular player. I look at the game objectively.
Right, you are a Bulls fan over
for
any
everybody. Player. Yes, for all of the Bull stands that got mad at me because I was holding him accountable to playing to the level that he's expected to play at. Like, that's where the disconnect comes from. But yes, Bulk should certainly have been probably either in the starting lineup next to Ryan Dunn, if not the first player off the bench in this game.
Yeah.
And playing 25 plus minutes, not waiting until 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter like Friday night.
Well, we'll see if he even plays at all.
Which is insane to even be saying right now.
Insane. The starting lineup should have been Colin Gillespie, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, Bol Bol, Oso Ighodaro.
I agree.
You're already down 18-9. Mason Plumlee's not doing shit against Domantas Sabonis. He's taking airball 3-pointers, and you're costing valuable minutes again for Oso Ighodaro.
Yep.
It's genuinely ridiculous. I think it's seriously a big middle finger from Mike Budenholzer. I think he knows that he's on his way out, and I think he doesn't like the Suns fans because no Suns fans like him, and so he just wants to give a big FU to them, and it's just ridiculous. Like. It is the perfect end to an imperfect season from Budenholzer, to where it's like, hey, you have all these obvious decisions that you're not making. You're not playing the young guys. It's tanked your season. And then finally, it's the easiest layup of all time. Last game of the season, you're eliminated. Richards, Beal, Book, Durant, not even out there with the team. And you can just go, hey, let all the young guys run. But you decide to play Mason Plumlee, who, by the way, doesn't need any extra miles on his legs at all.
No.
You start him for what? You're trying to win this game?
Exactly.
You idiot? Like,
Exactly.
oh my God, I hate him.
I just can't keep up with the train of thought as far as that decision goes, and that aligns with a lot of what we've said for a majority of this season, unfortunately.
No, it's pretty stupid. But around the league, Steven, a very interesting day. Let's just give the people a nice update on what's been going on, starting with the games that have already ended. I love that they do this on the final day where it's an entire day full of basketball, especially for seeding purposes.
Mhm.
Detroit loses to Milwaukee in OT, although I believe the Eastern Conference standings were already locked up.
Yep.
Your Bulls beat the 76ers.
Who?
Washington,
Who?
Bob Carrington
Who?
hit, you know who Bob Carrington is, hit a game winner against Miami Heat. The Knicks beat the Nets. Mikal Bridges checked out after 5 seconds and fouling. Boston beat Charlotte. Who cares? Atlanta beat Orlando. All the Eastern Conference games have already gone down. As far as the Western Conference games still happening, Denver and Houston. That's the really big one to watch today. Houston up 13-11 with 6 minutes into the first. Dallas and Memphis also squaring off with 7 minutes left in the first. Dallas leads them 17-10. Utah, Minnesota. Utah currently leads Minnesota, who needs to win that game. OKC already up double digits against the Pelicans in the first quarter. Spurs, Raptors, who cares? Then you have Clippers and Golden State. Clippers 12-6 lead with 9 minutes left to go in the first. Lakers currently losing 7-0 to Portland. Lot going on, but of course the Suns here, Steven, losing 18-9 currently to the Sacramento Kings.
Entire league was in play on Friday night. Entire league was off yesterday, and the entire league is playing again today. So ceremony is the way that the league has gone with the last weekend of the regular season the last few years. I think it makes complete sense considering the way that a lot of times the season has come down to the last game for a lot of teams, and there's no gamesmanship in terms of trying to finesse and finagle the standings, whether you be play-in or actual playoff standings. I think it's a good call in the league for structuring it the way that they have the last couple of years here.
Yeah, I agree. One of the few things the NBA's done
great pass
for structure-wise.
With the
Ryan
going, as a guard coming off a screen or driving, going to your left hand, and making a pass cross-court to the other side is not easy.
I like Tyus Jones as a player in certain respects. Just with this team, all of his downsides, that's a bucket from Trey Lyles. I hate you. All of his weaknesses and detriments just are amplified on this team. If he was surrounded by good defense and was in a backup point guard role on a good team, I think that he would have a spot in this league. But
that's what made us fit with the Minnesota Timberwolves in particular make a lot of sense.
And, you know, he was actually talking to Dana Scott after the last game saying that it was frustrating losing the Suns starting point guard role. You know, Steven, that's a hashtag get your money thing. Sure. Like, you know, get your money up, not your funny up. Speaking of funny up, that was hilarious.
What in the world?
But to pass up what could have been a pretty good contract for Tyus Jones, take the minimum, come to the Suns, and then now probably have to sign another minimum this offseason. Tough look for a guy like Tyus, and obviously something that might impact future players who are willing to take below their market value to play with a good team might have a cautionary tale as Oso Ighodaro is in the game.
That's the risk
coming
you
to
run
Phoenix
when you bet on yourself.
And a lob to Oso doesn't hit.
That's the risk you run. It's obviously everyone looks at the reward part of it, but the risk part is naturally more loud than the actual reward can be in most scenarios. And naturally with Tyus in this situation, the ecosystem that he was coming into was not the best. We knew that already.
Yeah.
It would have taken some Herculean efforts from him on efficiency, which he didn't necessarily have in all of the respects that they would have needed him to kind of mitigate that risk-reward relationship. And we see where he's at because of it.
Yep. We'll see what happens with him this offseason.
I'll say coming into this season, I didn't want Tyus to be starting. I could see him checking a box in terms of fitting a need for the team, obviously, but I thought he was going to be in for, that's a great steal, great read.
He's on one.
Great pass. Oh, he's not passing it. Okay, Tyus.
Tyus is on his, it's my turn.
See, for sure.
My turn shit tonight.
Coming into this season is perfect because you get a little B-roll of him going down court. I thought he was coming into this season, he was going to have a career best efficiency. 3-point shooting has been around where I thought it would be, but I thought he would also have a career best season shooting from the field in general because of the attention for the players surrounding him, because of the players that he would be able to play off of, and because of the pick and roll screeners and rollers that he had to play with in that natural two-man game. And a lot of those things just did not come to fruition in a sustained manner.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him. And I think he's gonna have to do some rebranding with whether he's with the Suns next season or if he chooses to go elsewhere.
Well, Bud also didn't do him any favors by
No.
starting him for so. And I know he wants to be starting, but he had those stretches where he was hitting like 50% from three, and those corner threes were dropping all the time.
He's one of the best corner 3-point shooters in the league, especially from the left corner.
If I'm Tyus's agent, I'm walking around to all these teams being like, man, my client was fucked. Like, they were really put in a bad situation. Last year, you can see in these moments where he wasn't put in a bad situation that he played well. He shot good from the three. Emilio says, have you guys considered streaming on playback? No, we have not. We like doing YouTube because that's kind of where we live, but maybe that's something we can look into this offseason and see if that's something that we can do. By the way, Emilio, if you're just joining here, I did read your super chat earlier, but I want to read it again since you're here. I deeply apologize for not reading that pregame. I know it doesn't seem like a huge deal, but you guys spend your hard-earned money with us. I want to make sure that you get your time, and I want to make sure that your question gets read. So Emilio says, finals week already on the wrong foot with that lineup. Emilio, how did you feel about Mason Plumlee's airball lefty three? Huh? Ridiculous. Also, everybody who's in here, if you guys want to ask any questions in the chat, we're more than happy to take those. There's no need to send a super chat. We'll still read your questions. If you want to send a super chat, you're more than welcome to do so. Of course, we will read that on screen as well. Hello says, have y'all talked about KD's deleted tweet about Suns fans wanting him traded? I didn't see the deleted tweet about Suns fans wanting him traded. I saw Kevin Durant tweet about how Suns fans complain about him over dribbling or whatever when he doesn't. So how did you see that this morning?
I did.
How'd you feel about that?
I thought he was right.
Yeah.
Overreacting to everything. I get it. Things are not where they would desire to be. But to say he was over dribbling, to say that he was overdoing his part, or whatever the lens that people were speaking to from that angle, just inaccurate. And
crazy.
And he pointed it out. And again, people have been in his mentions all season long talking about, I wish KD did this, I wish KD did that. Mind you, they're talking about somebody that's averaging 26 in their age 36 season. Someone that's one of the most efficient in the league. One of the most dynamic offensive talents in the league now still and in the history of the league. Like, what are we doing right now? There are multiple other things that the lens should be pointed at rather than trying to ask him to do more or do less of something in particular.
Suns Digest in the chat says, just watched the pregame show with Mark, and it was great to be able to hear his thoughts. We'll be clipping that full interview for you guys, and we'll be posting that on YouTube separately if you missed the pregame show. Maybe we'll have a couple clips for you postgame as well. Says also, top-tier reaction from Erik on Plumlee getting the start. Love he displays the airball to show it as well. Ridiculous. Emilio says, I had to take a step outside with that Mason 3. Appreciate y'all too, by the way. Man. Nano Assassin says, people not appreciative of Durant, honestly been one of our best hopes this season. 2-16 without him. 2-16.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been big on praising Kevin Durant this year, and I acknowledge that possibly your only way out of this is trading KD as done bricks a deep three. But I don't want him gone. He is the best individual talent to ever play on this team. Period.
Yeah, and that's not outlandish in any capacity to say.
No, and you and I put him in the no fault category of all our blame, and I think those who want to put a little bit of blame on him, I get it. I don't agree with it, but I understand if you say nobody is blameless. Tyus Jones is all for him today, and I love it. Go off, King. But with KD, man, he put his heart and his soul, and he played like hell. That 8-1 start was on the back of KD in the clutch. He was really one of the only redeeming members of this team and one of the only redeeming things this season. And it does suck how Kevin Durant gets all this hate on socials. I think there's criticizing a player, and then I think there's just like this unwarranted fanboy hate, and these two fanboy sides war at each other, and I hate that.
Yeah. Being a stan of any player that's already saying a lot as it is. But the lengths to which the KD and Booker stans have gone to this season, I got to make better choices, man.
Yeah. Well,
because how do you enjoy the game if you're looking at it through a lens like what you've been speaking to on the timeline all season long? Like genuinely,
you don't enjoy it. You don't enjoy the game. You enjoy the drama that goes along with it. And I'm a massive fan. Like, and I say this, I don't try to hide
Morris
this.
First quarter minutes.
Oh wow,
what up, Monte?
Season over. I'm very clear with the fact that I am a Suns fan, right? But I still approach the game from the fact that like I'm a basketball fan, you know.
But there's a difference between fans and stands.
Well,
though.
right, and Devin Booker is my favorite basketball player of all time. I'll criticize Devin Booker if he plays like doo-doo. And I'll still praise Kevin Durant if he plays better. And there's no reason to pit them against each other, like at all. It's just kind of crazy that we've gotten to this point, not just on the court, Steven, where the team just feels so out of it, but the discourse is so toxic that you got KD who, Monte 3? Bet. That's going to piss me off. Why didn't he play?
Yeah, that one I don't understand either.
Hashtag bring Monte back from Suns Digest in the chat. Devotion says, how are y'all blaming KD for the season? We are not. In fact, we did the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, this is wrong two guys.
You know, that's also, and maybe Devotion is mentioning the people that we're talking about.
Okay.
But one thing that I've noticed is that, like, I'll sit up here and I'll be like, yo, I thought Kevin Durant was great. And then somebody would be like, why are you hating on Kevin Durant? That was a kind of a fun play, Brick. Yeah. Monte staying with Levine on the screen. We could have really used that type of aggressiveness. That's from Anton in the chat.
Suns have been doing a good job since the first time out. Keeping things towards the sideline with their defense, but, you know, play some of the players that can play a little bit of defense, including Monte Morris. You know, you're going to see things be a little bit better than we saw over the vast majority of the season.
Yeah. Would have been nice to see him earlier. Devotion, I really hope you're not talking to us too, because I would maybe turn the volume up on the video. He's saying ungrateful that one of the greatest of all time joined this franchise and wants to stay, but y'all hating on him like seriously.
I'm gonna just assume that
he's talking about somebody else,
other people, just general discourse, because that's the last thing we've been doing.
I do think, and I like this point. Let's see who said it. Somebody saying Z-Head says, I think it's the simple fact that a vocal minority hating on KD on socials. Surely most Suns fans cannot want him off our team and think he's the issue. I get that he could be the return of investment. I do think that a majority of Suns fans are grateful for KD, but
I hope so.
Honestly, like KD, we got Ty Washington minutes, by the way. Honestly, like KD's very online. And so I feel like maybe KD doesn't feel that.
Yeah. I just want better for people, man. I really do.
I agree.
Like, I really genuinely want better because, yes, this season's been bad. There were not too many great points to speak to, but KD being one of the most consistent pieces, the most consistent piece of the team all season long. Like, it's just I just don't understand how conversations went the directions in which they did all season long around his name in particular.
Devotion says he's talking about Suns fans,
not
us
I
too.
feel
okay.
you good.
That's what
Devotion.
I thought, but I just wanted to make sure. Because I was like, okay. We got the Northern Saint, who I don't know if Northern Saint is a fan of us or not. To be honest, the comments I pick up, I don't think they are. But we appreciate you being here, Northern Saint. Says, hey, fellas, are we planning for next season or watching the game? I think the T. Jones signing was worse than the Beal trade. At least Beal brings toughness to his game. I would say the main argument for the Beal Tyus Jones thing is the contract that goes along with it, and the fact that Tyus is off the team next year and Bradley Beal is sinking the team currently. Northern Saint also says, I wonder what our record would be if Gillespie and Morris got Jones minutes. I think that Tyus Jones should have been very deep in the rotation once Gillespie and Monte were playing that well.
Well, Monte was never given a sustained stint in the rotation in a 15 to 20 minute role. Yeah, like maybe one stint early, got hurt, and even though his first stint where he was in the rotation was good, I remind people that especially at that early juncture of the season, he had one of the best plus or minuses in non-garbage time minutes on the entire team. And up until the All-Star break, it was the exact same way. That was with him not playing many minutes, but he made the most of the minutes that he did get. So Monte was just solid, which is what he has been pretty much his entire career.
Remember when he just came in off the bench like a week ago and just hit like 18 threes in like 15 seconds?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's just a steady hand, man. He doesn't do much wrong.
Oh,
he might
big
not
time.
do anything to raise your ceiling, but he's never going to hurt your floor.
For sure.
And that's exactly what you want at worst from a backup point guard.
We could have used him. 33-25 end of the first quarter. Suns only down 8. Woohoo. Northern Saint says it appears Dunn and Ighodaro, regardless of their potential, need to work on their game, muscle, shooting, and passing. For sure. They need to get bigger. They need to get stronger, and they need to have a little bit more touch on the offensive end.
That's a general thing for rookies coming into the league. You heard about it from Zachary Reese-Shea, the number 1 overall pick from this past draft. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Wait, can you say the name like you said it for us when we were watching the game? Come on. It's a watch along, please.
No.
Say it.
We said Zachary Reese-Shea.
Yeah.
So we heard from him directly because Atlanta Hawks fans have been screaming his praises for how great he's been post All-Star break and have been begging for what's their head coach?
Snyder.
Yeah, Quinn Snyder. They've been begging for Quinn to play him way more than he actually has. He's been averaging at about like 25, 26 minutes. And Reese-Shea came out and said, I literally can't. Like, I've been playing basketball for a long time, yes, but the physical demands of the NBA do not allow for me to play more than 25 minutes without putting myself at risk for injury. And not just soft tissue injuries, like severe injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So to stay on track, he's playing this 25-minute cap in terms of his minutes. And he's working on building up his body to take and withstand the hits that take place with playing, especially his position on the NBA level. Yeah. It's no different than Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro. Albeit those two don't play in the physical way that he might, they still need to put on certain types of muscle to withstand playing 25-plus minutes on consistency for an 82-game season.
Reese-Shea been hooping.
Yeah, been very good.
Taryn says, I really thought Bud will be the answer. Being an AZ guy in his preseason presser, he was the most disappointing after Beal this year, performance-wise. What say you? Yeah, Bud might be the single most disappointing thing this season, and that includes Bradley Beal. Mm-hmm. Just because I agree with you, the hometown hero aspect, him crying when Al McCoy came out at his pregame press conference, the fact that he mentioned he was going to have an offensive identity and shoot threes and how quickly all of that went away. You know, I was so excited for Mike Budenholzer. I was excited for Tyus Jones. I was thrilled for this season. I think he's clearly one of the worst parts of this season, bar none. And if you saw the pregame show, he's my least favorite Suns coach of all time.
Yeah. Things get real tough as a head coach, especially if you're coming into something that's already kind of a house on fire as it was from last season coming into this season. And there's a fine line you have to walk as a head coach to where you're obviously pleasing your star talents, but also having reach to be able to coach them as well as coaching the rest of the roster. There's certain things that basically as a coach, either you're coaching or you're allowing. Mm-hmm. And it felt like there were a lot more things that were being allowed, which snowballed into play that was far, far more out of alignment with the style of play he maybe wanted to play or maybe desired to play early in the season compared to what we saw in early March and even more so now in April.
Psycho Blue with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Psycho Blue says, between DA and Bud, the lesson learned this season is never bring back AZ alum to have key positions on the Suns long term. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Clone 1 says, it physically pains me to say this, but we should have stuck with Vogel.
No, it's tough to stay with a coach if they've lost the locker room, especially if you have a big three and they're not verbing with either one of those three in the ways they need to. It's not going to really
But Vogel did do a better job, so I agree with him on that sense.
He did that part for sure. But the other part of losing the locker room, especially the big three, that's almost a non-negotiable.
Steve sends a chat, says, as a lifelong Suns fan, I'm used to going into an offseason following a disappointing year.
Yeah, that's tough.
Steve, I feel you as a lifelong Suns fan as well. Like, I do feel like I've been forged through the fire. But does this not hit a little different? Like, Steve, I want you to let me know, like, is this... Oh, here we go. Steve says, this is the first time I've been excited going into an offseason following a losing year because we finally have an owner who will do what it takes to win. So, Steve, I just want to know, like, are you not as hopeless as a lot of people are? And I'm curious your perspective on what's kind of going on here and how you feel. Steve, I haven't seen you really in the chat, and so I would love it if you stuck around. Just a reminder, guys, we do post-game shows and pre-game shows during the season, but once the offseason hits, we're 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. We'll be getting guests doing fun drafts and tiers and offseason topics. We'll have NBA draft coverage, free agency coverage, big shows all the time. It'll be a really, really good time. So make sure you stick around as well. Clone says, do we think Bud still has the locker room? No fucking chance.
No, he didn't have a locker room when you got KD right after the All-Star break screaming to the sideline, you need people who can guard. And one of those players who could actually guard was not playing at the time.
Yeah, Maria says, unpopular opinion, but the Suns won't ever turn the corner to get over the hump. If they swap out coach and the whole team every year, how do you build any consistency and rhythm like that?
Yep, well, they need to do a better job with diligence and deciding who it is that they're bringing in that head coach, for one. That starts everything. Someone that's going to actually build a culture, someone that you're going to give the grace to do what they need to do in the early part of their stint to hopefully reap the benefits of 2, 3, 4 seasons from then. I think someone needs to be brought in that they're going to trust and give the runway to do their job. Head coaching is not something that you can just do in 1 year and just shift things, nor like it's no different than skill development. Skill development is something that is worked on time after time after time over multiple seasons sometimes before things, you can start seeing them come to the surface. But you have to be given the opportunity to do that. So that's why I'm so intentional about them finding someone that's a breath of fresh air to the coaching space.
New.
Not have to necessarily be young, but someone that's not.
I need a sexy head coach. I need a young, sexy head coach.
Just be someone that maybe has been around a little bit, but that's new to the head coaching space.
So Taryn says, would you guys want to get a first-time coach with potential or experienced NBA coach, a.k.a. Malone or Jenkins, saying the most teams return barring Durant?
This is a first-time head coach for me. Someone that comes with a certain reverence, though. It can't just be like anybody.
Sam Cassell, Chris Quinn, Mike Onori. I really like Nate Oates in Alabama, but I don't think he leaves. Although, I don't know. He's been really frustrated with Alabama's NIL.
Coaching on the collegiate level is completely different than
completely
the NBA level
different.
Because you have
shot clock schemes, though.
That's still so different, bro.
I know.
But
we've seen some college coaches come up and have success.
Right away, though?
No, not right away. Anton says, can someone refresh me why Monty was kicked out? They didn't like how he was using KD. And his relationship with DA and Jay went to crap, and they didn't like how he treated some of those players. So I would definitely go with a Cassell or a Chris Quinn, or if you can somehow find a way to get Ty Lue, you have to trade for him, which isn't going to happen. For me, Psycho Blue says Darvin Ham.
My top, Darvin Ham is funny how he got hired because he's going to be Doc Rivers' replacement.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that one. But for me, it's Sam Cassell, Jerry Stackhouse, and Chris Quinn. The last two can be switched if you want to, but those are my top three if I was making a decision on who's the next Suns head coach.
Taryn asked if we have any assistant coaches that we like.
Those are all assistant coaches.
Well, from the Suns.
Oh, from the Suns.
I like David Fizdale, but I don't know if I really want him as a head coach. But I like him as a coach, and I want him around. I've heard really good things about him. So
Fizz definitely has a role. And it would be cool to see if Chris Quinn was brought in. Two people that have Heat ties that span back to the LeBron days down there. Obviously the D-Wade days even more so. That's the type of culture. Like, I know people, he culture this, he culture that as a meme and talking down on it online, but it's really a pillar of what makes a franchise sustain over time. And if we get back to Maria's question about finding a coach that's going to be able to stay for a while, actually build a culture, that's a blueprint right there. Yeah. If you had, let's just say Chris Quinn in theory, you keep Fizz around in some capacity. You keep James Jones around in some capacity in the front office. These are players, these are people that came from that franchise in particular.
Crazy shot just went in for DeMar DeRozan. I mean, it didn't count, but it bounced off the top.
I was going to say, did it count?
No, it didn't count. Well, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's catch-22. You don't want to build consistency and keep the guy around who sucks, but you don't want to keep cycling it over. So Alston asked, you guys think to trade KD to the Spurs, they would need to add the Nets for more money stuff?
I think so. I've been speaking with other people that I talk basketball with about the Nets helping to connect the dots for the Suns, whether it be trading Durant or Beal. And I think that's not something that's out of the realm of possibility to help make salaries match, but also add potential talent in spots where the Suns could certainly use it.
Yeah. 41-35, 44. to 35. We're a little bit behind what our score says on the screen. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We will also have a post-game show. We'll be taking a break at halftime. Guys got to eat, you know what I mean? But we will be back for the second half, so keep on sending in your questions. Mario Not Bros 2 says, is Grayson the worst passer in the history of the Suns?
No, he is not.
He's not been good today.
But he's not been good today either.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that Keon Ellis
Hooper
is an absolute dog.
Hooper.
At some point, general discourse is going to catch up with appreciating players that guard dudes from opposing teams, meaning best players from opposing teams on a nightly basis. That is the hardest job in the entire NBA. And I will go out on a limb and continue to tap the sign on point of attack defenders needing to be valued as such, because that is not an easy job at all.
Kevin Durant's beefing with fans during the game.
Oh, man.
Somebody screenshotted KD's 3 turnovers in 36 minutes a game, 20 dribbles, whatever. And then a fan quote tweeted it and said he needs to shut up sometimes about KD. And then KD commented and said, or what?
Man, y'all can't just think y'all going to be online talking reckless and that man is not going to respond. Like, I hope that's not what y'all are hoping for.
Why did this happen to us, man? Appreciate that, Alston. Very much appreciate that. Maria, Katie's just beefing with people on Twitter, per usual. How are we feeling about this game?
What game?
Yeah. Man, I would love to be sitting in the room with Kevin Durant when he's posting. That would just be fun.
It would just be fun to kick it with KD, honestly.
By the way, let's just take a
cool
quick
dude.
box score check. Russell says Bol Bol needs to be playing right now. No Bol Bol minutes, but we have gotten 5 Ty Washington Jr. minutes. No points. 0-2 from the line. No field goals attempted. 6 points from Monte Morris in 8 minutes. 0 points from Oso Ighodaro in 6 minutes. Cody Martin, 5 minutes. 0 points. Royce O'Neal, 11 minutes. 5 points. Ryan Dunn, 11 minutes. 5 points. Mason Plumlee, 12 minutes. 2 points. Tyus Jones, 9 minutes. 6 points. Grayson Allen, 13 minutes. 8 points. And Colin Gillespie, 7 minutes. 3 points. Awesome. Jay says, can we get some Jalen Bridges minutes? That'd be nice. I don't just play Bol Bol, man. Seriously, what the hell are we doing here? What the hell are we doing here? Imposted says, how much % fault does Josh Bartelstein hold? I don't see his name being talked about much. I think a good amount. I think a good amount. We don't know exactly how much control he has over this team, but I do think that he needs to be held accountable. I just lump him in with like the entire front office, him and James Jones. I want somebody besides those two making decisions.
Yeah, I think I've pretty much hammered this point home since the trade deadline that they need someone with a different vision, an evolved vision, and not just a vision as a theory, but proof of concept. So having a reputation that precedes them. Someone that you know has executed upon it once or twice or multiple times over their career, to where you can trust that wherever it is that they're trying to steer for their vision with this Suns roster, it can get you there. And get you there in the most efficient manner and the most productive manner that's going to obviously put the team in the best position to be a winning team again.
Yeah. Lots of nice things being said about us in the chat. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who has tuned in with us this season and who has continued to watch. I'll have a final message for everybody as we end our post game show. You know, there are 67 of you in here right now, the real psychos and the real sickos. I want to let you guys know who our special guest is for our post game show. The incomparable Saul Bookman will be calling in for our third segment to share his thoughts as the Phoenix Suns season has ended. So if you're missing the old crew, which I don't blame you, that old crew was something special. Saul Bookman will be calling in for the third segment of the PHNX Suns postgame show. But let's just keep that between all of us, shall we? And keep it as a surprise for everybody else when we get into that postgame show. Yep. Getting excited, guys. This regular season's winding down. The Suns are down 47-41. Crazy comment, Meatloaf. Mario Not Bros 2 says, give me some more Ryan Dunn attacking the basket next season and improve his free throws. Dude is underrated in that area.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
I would love to see Ryan expand his offensive game for sure.
He's gonna have to, because I think he needs to be in a starting role for this team, but he can't do that viably if he's not bringing up the floor for his play. He can't have those lows where the last 2 weeks he was averaging like 5 points,
right,
on like 26% from deep,
and that just comes with over reliance on the 3-point shot. Yep. Right, his 3-point shot needs to get better for sure, but I don't want it to be that's all he does on offense.
That can't be his barometer. Where if he's hitting threes, he's efficient on offense. If he's not, then he has no impact. Can't be that.
Meatloaf with a crazy comment. You might want to get off screen for this one. Says that Saboner is creaming us.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Also push up. Bang. Russell says, Erik Ruby, is it possible that Beal's agent forced Bartelstein to get Beal? Just wondering. His dad. Did Bartelstein's dad force the Suns to get Beal?
Oh, that's a good question. That's more of a Gerald question right there.
I would say, I don't think anybody forced anybody, but the connection would be, yeah. Guys, remember, we will be taking a break at halftime. Suns hanging around in this one. We'll see it. What happens if they just blow them out in the second half? Remember when we traded for Nick Richards?
I was trying to give the hold your horses, but that train was running out of control. He'll be good in time, but he's obviously not there yet. Give him a little bit. That goes back to my skill development point. He is a stark contrast from what he was when he first came to the Suns. He found a niche. He started to show his middies, like you always talk about. Started to get comfortable making passes in the short roll, little things like that. But it wasn't hitting enough for them to shift things the way that they needed to post-trade deadline. So he's a player that's going to be fun to gauge going into next season, especially with presumably a new head coach being in the space, and seeing what they think of him and what types of usage offensively and defensively that they could get out of him.
Yeah. 3 minutes-ish left here in the second half. Hey, hit that like button. Huh? What do you think about that? Hit that like button for the boys doing a watch-along, hanging out with just the greatest psychos and sickos on planet Earth. We appreciate you all so much for hanging out with us and chilling here and making time on your Sunday afternoon. That is always much, much, much appreciated. Nano says, wait, so if the Warriors win today, do they go 5th because their win-loss record will be tied with the Clippers? If so, if they're tied, what's the head-to-head between the Clippers and the Warriors? I know they're playing today.
Crazy.
Huh?
That series would be crazy.
Yeah. What's their Clippers have won the season series, so it would go to LA if they end with the same record. Oso Lob!
Nice. Just imagine that first round series, though. James Harden, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Ivica Zubac, Draymond Green, and then all of the above average role players that both of those teams have. And the coaches on the sideline,
established coaches,
Ty Lue and Steve Kerr again. I'm off. Like, get your popcorn ready. Word to Terrell Owens. I'm all in for that first round series. That one probably goes 7. And I'm going to say the Los Angeles Clippers win that series. The Dubs have struggled with having point-of-attack defenders. Their attack isn't as diverse defensively as it maybe once was, albeit they've been the best team since the Jimmy Butler trade on the defensive end. I don't know if they have what it takes to throw the Clippers offense off rhythm just because of James Harden being an all-time great in terms of guard play, but especially in pick and roll. And that's one of the areas where the Warriors have struggled most, even with Jimmy, because they don't have that point of attack defender. It's probably going to be Moses Moody that's guarding Harden. And after that, they don't really have the most viable options. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Clippers have hit them in waves that other teams can't, and that gets me to my overarching point. Matchups come playoff time.
Yeah, we're going to be talking just because the Suns will be out of the playoffs. We will still carve out a lot of time to dedicate to be talking about the playoffs. So don't tune out from basketball, guys. I know the season's been terrible for the Suns, but there's going to be a lot of really great NBA basketball. We will still be covering that. Of course, we'll also covering the Suns here for you on PHNX Suns 5 days a week at 3 p.m. Emilio, that includes draft coverage. I do like a Thiero. We will be getting into a lot of names that can fall into that range and what the Suns can maybe do at the end of the first round there. Don't want to fire off too many bullets, but we will be doing a lot of in-depth draft coverage, and we'll be doing a draft show, and we'll be doing a draft lottery watch-along to see where the Phoenix Suns pick ends up. So, Jay says, do you think Bud will be fired tonight or tomorrow? Feeling it might be a couple of days. But we'll see. It could happen really at any time. We are on high alert here at PHNX. Brent says he would take the Warriors, mostly because Harden is a community college player in the playoffs.
I was just responding to that. I hear you on that part, but he's surrounded probably as well as he's ever been as like a top 1 or top 2 player on the roster. And that's where the likes of Norman Powell and Ivica Zubac and Bogdan Bogdanovic, excuse me. That's where all of those type of players come in, because now he is not solely responsible for spearheading offense, if not offense, spearheading attack. He gets to the ball early. He gets off it to Bogdan or to Norman Powell or to Kawhi Leonard or his Zubac on the short roll. That then becomes offense in and of itself in 4-on-3 scenarios, time after time after time. And that's why I feel like, again, they can weigh on the Warriors' defense in ways that other teams can't. But also, the Warriors have been starting Draymond Green at the 5. That's great. What are you going to do when you're going against Ivica Zubac? 7-1 with all the skill in the world, can rebound pass.
He's the X factor of that
and
series,
that's why I'm saying, again, matchups, especially in the first round, but for the duration of the playoffs. I think the Clippers are going to be a sneak team, not unlike the Houston Rockets, like I was speaking to.
Who in the playoffs is a good center matchup for Zubac, right? You got
Isaiah
Jokic, Hartenstein, and Alperen Şengün kind of, but more the Steven Adams type. But
yeah.
Zubac's been getting in his own, man, all season. I love that guy. I cannot believe the Lakers traded him for Mike Muscala.
Zoo has been getting a lot of attention for all NBA teams. I don't think he gets there just because of, and I hope to be a part of the change, the way that voters watch the games or don't watch the games. And that's naturally going to lend itself to people being disappointed again with some of the award decisions that are made for the teams, but also for the individual awards.
Yeah.
But yes, to the Zubac X Factor point, 1,000,000%. Yep, 100%.
By the way, Chris Paul played all 82 of 82 games this year.
It started all 82. Is the second highest minute total for a player of his age to have led his team in minutes played this season. Number 1 on that list, Wizards Michael Jordan. Number 3 on that list, redacted from the Utah Jazz.
Hate that guy.
Redacted front court player for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah. The 82 game club for this season. Chris Paul, Jalen Green, Mikal Bridges, Jared Allen, Harrison Barnes, Jaden McDaniels, Julian Champagnie, Bub Carrington, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Malik Beasley, Buddy Hield, and Bradley Beal.
That's a joke. He tried it, though. He tried to sneak it in.
No Brad? About a minute left here in the second half.
That's what Devin Booker and Kevin Durant said.
Oh, man. Remember, guys, we'll be taking a break at halftime, but stick around. Make sure you tune in for the second half. And, of course, for our post-game show, Saul Bookman will be calling in for our third segment of the post-game show.
Get that
That's a bucket
Ryan.
here. Yep.
That's great defense on the switch from Oso with Zach LaVine. Ryan's got to get that rotation down to the corner a little better, but credit to the Kings for their spacing, because if LaVine isn't in the deepest of deep corner there, Ryan's coming away with a steal there, and the Suns are off to the races on the other end. That's a great example of the Suns being decent but not good enough.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is the most extreme because the game doesn't truly matter, but time after time, watching games live, rewatching games, if they're in the right position, sometimes they're a half step behind. And with the modern day offenses and the way the ball moves and how everyone can shoot, that's all it takes to keep their defense in rotation. where you should get a steal, ends up being a 3 for the opposing team.
Yep. Exciting times here in Phoenix. Love seeing Mike Budenholzer on the sideline. Alston says, do we think we could trade for picks and turn it around in 2 years? Be honest. For me personally, I would say yes if they pick right.
Say that one more time.
Do we think we can trade for picks and then turn it around in 2 years?
I think so. Obviously, that means you're trading Kevin Durant. But I don't think that's out the realm of possibility at all.
They've been drafting really well. Rebuilds are so tough, man. Like, it's hard to put a timeline on
You
them.
heard Devin Booker said, you heard Matt Ishbia said, they're not here to rebuild. Retool is probably the worst that they would get, but they're not, in their minds, at least going into this offseason right now, they have not communicated that a rebuild is what they're interested in or want to do in any capacity. So I imagine the moves that are made will directly align with that. But again, as everything with this team, you got to stay tuned for it. So we'll see.
Yeah, Colin might have broke his finger. That's fun. Maybe hyperextended it.
That's tough either way.
I hate when that happens, dude. Playing basketball. Oh my God. All
it happens
the time.
even more in football as a receiver. Dislocated
when you're
my
throwing
finger.
bullets?
No, I've dislocated my finger as a receiver, catching passes before. Probably the worst was my left index finger. I caught a hitch. My quarterback had a absolute rocket. I ran a 7-yard hitch, and the ball was probably like 75 miles an hour. Catch it the way I always do, turn around, go downfield, and then I look down and my left finger is facing my thumb. My left index finger is facing my thumb. Like,
Jesus.
Yeah. I imagine that's a little bit of what Colin is going through right now in this situation. That's tough.
I have broken every single finger and every single one of my toes.
That's tough.
Yeah. I've also torn ligaments in both my ankles. I've broken my leg and my arm. I've gotten multiple concussions.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Hopefully for Colin, it was on his left hand and not his right.
Yeah.
But
well, also it's the offseason, so.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just which hand is he going to sign that full contract with? That's what I'm curious.
Well, what team is he signing that full contract with?
Nothing like a nice little challenge and review. Nothing like that.
You think the Kings beat the Mavericks in the first round of the play-in?
Honestly, no. Mavericks have been playing with some serious heart.
AD going off, I'm assuming?
Yeah. No, Luka. Luka's going to go crazy for the Mavs. Bradley Beal's played 82 games. Luka Doncic is still a Maverick, and I'm in the upside down.
I think the Kings can beat the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks will have the best player on the court, but the waves that the Kings can go at opponents with their offense, the defense is a whole other conversation, but offensively, they just have so much. AD is going to be put to task. It's going to take a master class for him, which he's capable of, but
it's the Kings.
I hear you.
Like, they're up 3 against the Suns, who started Mason Plumlee.
The real question is, though, can either of those two teams beat whoever it is that's going to lose the first round of the 7-8 in the play-in, which I don't think.
I mean, I don't know, man. The Grizzlies have been in a free fall. Memphis up 65-44 on Dallas, by the way. Denver up 55-47 on Houston. Minnesota up 1 on Utah at halftime. OKC up 17 against the Pelicans. Portland up on LA by 10. Pacers beat Cleveland in double OT. Atlanta beat Orlando. Boston beat Charlotte. New York beat Brooklyn. Washington beat Miami on a game winner from Bob Carrington. Chicago beat Philadelphia. And Milwaukee beat Detroit. Basketball. It's halftime, 57-54, which means we're going to take a break. And we will be back for post-game and Impossible. We will answer your question and all of your questions, so much more, at our post-game, second half show and our post-game show, all right here on PHNX Sports. And we're back, and I put my sunglasses on because guess what? I can do whatever I want. So there is that. Steven, how you doing? How was halftime for you?
It was cool. It's just one step closer to the end of the season for the Suns.
2 more quarters of Suns basketball.
Maybe.
Oh, you feeling overtime?
I mean, it's a 3-point game, right?
Nothing would be better than a little game 82 overtime, huh?
No, that go.
Some sad news that I have for everybody. I just got a message from Saul Bookman. Something came up. Saul's not able to join the post-game show today, but we will have Saul on as Ryan Dunn takes it to the hoop. We will have Saul on at some point this summer. I do apologize I was going to keep it a secret. Should have just kept it a secret. But I wanted to let you guys in, but I just got a text from Saul and something popped up, but it's all good. Saul will be on at some point in the future. I promise you that, but apologies for all of you that got your hopes and your dreams up. But yeah, it's a 1-point game, huh? How about that?
Yep.
Man, how about you feeling a 20-point blowout?
For the Suns?
Yeah.
Again, this Kings team has not been all that trustworthy.
Oh, God, they're the Kings.
And that's why I've been saying I don't think it's out the realm that the Suns potentially win this game. I think I picked the Kings by 3 or 4 at most. It's for those exact reasons. It's
just crazy to me. By the way, the people love the ad break music, which I'm glad. Oh no, Mason Plumlee reverse layup lob. We're so back.
Noah also loves that ad read music.
Yeah, that's fire,
as we know.
Oh man. BC's propaganda, LA propaganda is terrible. The only redeeming factor of BC is that he's a Sun Devil and that he's a PHNX fan. But a Laker Dodger fan, like BC, you know what, man? Like the fact that I don't fully hate you with my heart is a testament because the fact you're a Lakers and Dodgers fan. And somehow like I don't instantly see your name in the chat and throw up. So like that's a massive compliment to you, by the way. Excuse me. Milo says if we get this, let's go get Taco Bell. No free ads. Mario Not Bros 2 says, if Mason gets more minutes than Oso, send Bud to the asylum. I'll check him in myself. Let's see. The Kings need this.
They do.
No Bol Bol. Do you think Bol Bol gets any minutes today?
I think it's crazy he didn't play in the first half, especially in this game. I think it was crazy that he didn't play last game too, but even more so today. The way it's trending, he's not going to play. So
crazy. I mean, in a close game too, Bud's going to be asked about it. Yeah, this was a close one. Just really wanted to let our guys rock out and try to get a win. But you got to give credit to the Kings. They played like the better team and they showed up prepared. And we're just going to have to be better next year. Darren, whose contract? Said, how's his contract? Bol Bol? I believe Bol's a free agent.
Yeah, I believe Bol.
I think you have his bird rights, but Bol is a free agent. Plumlee's a free agent. Monte's a free agent. Tyus is a free agent. Grayson and Royce are under contract for a couple more years. They signed their extensions this last offseason. Beal, of course, under contract. KD with 1 year left. Book with a lot of years left. Ryan and Oso on rookie deals, and then Colin on a 2-way deal as he drills a 3. He can be converted. Oh, no. B-Sal says Gillespie hurt. What happened here? Because he already hurt his finger. Now I'm just watching with anticipation. Oh, don't love that. Oh, don't love that. Okay, he's getting up. Okay, all right. You had me sweating there, Basu. Basu, you had me sweating. Oh, looks like he knocked knees midair.
That's never fun.
I don't think, and I know a lot of people here play basketball, but I don't think people realize how much it hurts to get knocked down when you're like 4 or 5 feet up in the air onto the hardwood.
That hardwood is unforgiving. Yeah,
that's tough, man. You were saying what, Tyus Jones game winner? What would be the funniest outcome for this game?
Oso Ighodaro knocks down the 3 for the game.
Oh, I want it so bad. There you go, Grayson. Okay, guys, make sure you can send in your questions. We will answer all of them. All of them. Every single one, as long as you're not BC with his Lakers propaganda. Hello says, game ends in a tie. Just quadruple OT. God, I mean, they're hooping right now, huh?
They are. Writing that scoreboard up.
Yeah. Terrence says, I'm sure Bol would want to leave. Probably wants to leave because he didn't get much of an opportunity here. Yeah, I mean, I think that's why he stayed, was because he thought he was going to get an opportunity. And especially, you know, being mentored by Kevin Durant and playing well when he got minutes last year. And then
relationship with
Fizz.
But those things are very good and important. But when there's a head coach in change and the new head coach does not have the same vision for the roster with you included in the rotation as the coach that preceded him, it's how you find yourself in this situation.
Yeah, a lot of people begging for Bol Bol. Basu, sorry. Ending 13 overtimes and Bol Bol still doesn't play. Mario says, do they bring back Richards and or Martin next year on their current non-guaranteed deals? Is Richards a non-guarantee? He's guaranteed.
I think Richards is guaranteed.
But
Richards will be back.
Richards will be back. I hope he's not your starter, but I think he could be a valuable backup center. I like Cody Martin. I would like Cody Martin back next year. He's a very cheap deal, and he's the type of wing that this team could need. So I'd like to see both those guys back next year.
Yeah, if Cody is not back, you need players that are cut from that same archetype.
That are paid a similar amount, so why not just keep them?
Correct. With Nick Richards, though, I think the Suns should be, if he's going to be optimized, they need more versatility out of the front court. So if Oso obviously is still a rookie under contract, gives you a different speed and style of play that Nick Richards does. You need a floor spacer in your front court.
Yeah.
If you're optimizing Devin Booker, you need a floor spacer in your front court. And there's only a handful of floor spacing centers out there, especially of the starting caliber. So if you're making all of these trades, you need to be trying to figure out how to get one of those guys in particular in the room.
What's Spencer Hawes doing right about now, huh?
Oh, Spencer Hawes is he is not making threes. I know that.
Naming dudes.
Spencer Hawes. Shout out to Spencer.
Jumping on the trade machine real quick here, because why the hell not? I wonder.
Floor spacing centers that come to mind first for me: Kristaps Porzingis, Karl Anthony Towns. Those are probably your best bets. Miles Turner's obviously always out there, but you just signed the extension not too long ago, so that's less likely.
I'm trying to figure out a way to get Cat here now.
It'll be via KD.
So that straight up does not work. KD makes about $1 million something more, and the Knicks cannot take any more salary than what they give up, and neither can the Suns. So that's going to be really tricky.
I'm imagining that gets easier for the Suns when Beal is offloaded in some capacity.
Yeah,
so
if you can.
That's the lens that I'm looking at that in particular through.
Yeah, if you can do that.
Yeah.
God, Micic makes $8 million. Lordy. So if you do Katie and Grayson Allen, that's about $71 million. And then if you do Cat, who's at 53, let's find somebody who's just under 20. Cat and Josh Hart. I don't know if the Knicks would do that, but I wonder if this works. Nope, failed. Who is too much? Suns taking on too much by $1 million. God, this is so annoying. They wouldn't
trade Cat and Josh Hart.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, it gets tough.
Yeah.
But if they have a first round exit, which I don't think is out the realm, against the Detroit Pistons, they will certainly be looking to upgrade the roster in some capacity.
And I do wonder, I know a lot of people talk about McHale, right? And they want McHale back. I'll be honest with you. I feel like a lot of people who want McHale back have not watched McHale over the last couple of years. I don't think he's a bad player, but I think he's gotten a little worse defensively, and I don't think he's grown a lot offensively. And I think he would fit well on this team, but it's, do you really want him there? And I don't know if some people realize that he might sully the image that he built over here.
I still believe in McHale. I think he's been very good post All-Star break in particular. The way people talked about him before the break, And the way he's playing now and the way he's produced now has been completely different. He picked it up with Jalen Brunson out of the rotation. Now, naturally, obviously, with JB back, that's the way the team is constructed to be. Come playoff time, and he'll have to answer questions because teams are going to guard Cat certain ways. Teams are going to guard Jalen Brunson certain ways. Those ways are both going to lend itself to him needing to be productive and efficient with his touches. It remains to be seen on him. This is where you really show it come playoff time. If he steps up to the plate, I think there's going to be a major step in the right direction. I think he's set up to do that, but it remains to be seen.
Yeah. Emilio says, do not love Wendell Carter, but I guess he fits the type. Swap with Grayson? Question mark.
Yeah,
it's possible.
I was all in on Wendell before he signed his extension this past offseason.
Yeah, Nate, I don't think it's his fault that he's an overvalued trade asset for sure. I think Mikhail's a very good player in this league, but I do think that some people think he's going to come back and just like change this team. And I think he'd be a good piece. But if he can like elevate in the playoffs, which is something that he wasn't able to do here, that would answer a big question for Mikhail, especially in the scoring department. Mr. TF says, we have draft picks. Yes, we have draft picks, just not our own. We will own the worst of Cleveland, Utah, and
who's the third team? I can't remember the third team off the top of my head.
But it's going to be Cleveland's pick, basically. It'll be Cleveland's pick. Hello says, still want to believe Beal heads to the Magic in a trade. We talked about that a long time ago, that is a good destination for Bradley Beal because Orlando, they might be one of the teams that they don't have a lot of eyes on them, but if they disappoint in their postseason action, especially offensively.
They got to find ways to upgrade offensively in particular. Defense has never been an issue for them.
Yeah.
Their issues come on the offensive end with how Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner are guarded. Naturally, those two are very, very, very good scorers, but neither of those two stretch the floor. So with them in particular, teams have been going under screens and really lending themselves to just keeping them from getting paint touches. And they don't have a counter on their roster to match that or counter that with spacing. KCP was supposed to be that, but he has not panned out the way they desire for him to. I think that if they have someone else in their offense that can create their own shot, but also be viable in spacing to where they're not just putting up good numbers on average, but a defense has to respect them a certain way.
Right.
That's where they start to kind of turn a corner with their offensive process. And they can certainly use that with the guard group that they have because
I could even
they
see
have a
Grayson
bunch of athletic guards. Correct.
Oh my God, another messed up alley-oop from Oso. Don't think my bet's hitting. Think I'm losing 100. How's your bet looking?
I'm done.
Yeah? You're done?
Yeah. Sabonis only had one rebound in the first quarter.
Espo, I think, is a long shot. Ryan Dunn, 30-plus points, not looking great. Oh, he needs Oso 10-plus points, too. So if I hit, he hits. So, yeah, I think I won. Woo!
Another Sabonis 3.
Jesus, man.
But yeah, so for Orlando makes a lot of sense as a partner for both Grayson and Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
I'd imagine they value Grayson more because he won't take the ball out of the hands of Paolo and Franz.
And he makes a lot less, and he doesn't have a no-trade clause.
Correct. But yeah, I think Orlando will be intrigued by either one of those two for their team. And I think naturally, again, like I mentioned in the first half, Brooklyn is a team that can help to bridge the gap in facilitating the trade for the Suns. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, Mario in the chat says he likes Walter Clayton out of Florida, but positional concerns. I agree with that. I think taking experienced college guards who have proven it in March Madness is a good bet. But going with a guard with your first round pick when your team is guard heavy and needs wings and centers, not the move that I would love. I think a nice big, a young big, not in the Oso mindset, but probably like a 7-footer who can be a little athletic would be my ideal pick for the Suns this year, but we'll dive into full draft coverage a little later in the offseason. Anton says, Steven, do you also keep up with European basketball? One Eurobasket bracket is going to be held in my city, and I'm tempted to catch a game.
I don't keep up with Euro hoop as much just because there's so much going on stateside, especially for me on the men's side and the women's side. So my plate is stacked a little bit, but I would say go.
Always go. Go watch live basketball.
The European basketball product is oftentimes ahead of the curve for what ultimately comes to the NBA and to the WNBA. So yeah, definitely check it out. Definitely just kind of keep tabs on what you're seeing and what's going on. As we talked about on our last watch along, actions like Spain pick and roll literally have a European country named in it.
Yeah.
It derives from there. And a ton of the actions that we see, like even Mike D'Antoni's offense, a ton of that stemmed, I believe it was from his time spent in Italy in some capacity. Don't quote me on that, but it derived from his time that he spent overseas.
Yeah.
So
Anton says Lithuania is actually part of the bracket here, so I could see DeMontis live.
Nice.
I think, like, genuinely, a lot of people ignorantly discount the non-NBA professional product, especially when you're talking about guys being bums because they didn't make it to the NBA or whatever. Some of the best basketball you can watch is overseas.
Absolutely.
And some of the best in-arena environments are also overseas. If you have the opportunity to watch high-level basketball and you don't live in a place where the NBA goes,
go.
Go.
And for the people that don't like the NBA product, you will likely enjoy Eurobasket because Eurobasketball is free-flowing as it gets. It's as team, like, comprehensive style of play as it gets. The most isolation that you see usually in Eurobasket is late shot clock or at the end of a game. Outside of that, it's a ton of player movement, a ton of ball movement, and a ton of spacing and nuance to offense. But also in defense, very nuanced with the approach. Somewhat untraditional switching, untraditional defensive schemes in terms of zone usage and the ways that matchups are cross-matched and things like that. They do a ton of stuff over in Europe, so it's layered. And if you want to learn, I would say outside of watching college basketball here, try to watch a little bit of European basketball whenever you get a chance.
For sure. Yeah, Anton, definitely go. Shout out to everybody hanging out with us. Hit that like button. Remember, we'll be doing a post-game show. A reminder, I know I said that Saul was going to be joining us for post-game. He just let me know he had something come up. He'll be joining us sometime in the offseason. So you will get some Saul Bookman in your life, just not today. Anton says, makes me miss watching college games in my home country, though. Games over there are definitely not as polished, but holy hell, are the crowds fun as hell.
Yeah, that's another thing. The overseas crowds are completely different.
Yeah.
Different culture of basketball that can easily be enjoyed off of watching just one game.
I mean, you're not getting priced out like you are here in the States.
Well, that part too.
Which by the way, I know Gerald mentioned this on his socials, but a lot of people taking Devin Booker's tweet about maybe the last time Suns fans could see him in person, and that's why he played on Fan Appreciation Night. He was talking about fans not affording to go to games, not him leaving the Suns. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Apparently, Josh Okogie cooked for the Hornets today. Let's see what he did.
Cody Martin Midi.
Oh boy. 3-word horror story.
And he had multiple contests around him too.
Okogie with 14 points, 4-10 from the field.
How many threes? Was it 3 threes?
2 of 7 from deep.
Okay.
Yusuf Nurkic, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 1 of 3 from deep, 6 of 10 from the field. Taj Gibson still getting minutes. Shout out Taj Gibson, man.
How about LaMelo getting excited about the prospect of Nurkic being the 3-point shooting center?
Tell him to join us 7 months ago. Baylor Shireman getting the start for the Celtics today. Torrey Craig, nice 0 points for him starting for the Celtics today.
I wonder if Shireman gets any first-round minutes because he's been playing somewhat solidly for them post-All-Star break. I mean, he played well for them against the Suns too.
I don't know. I don't know if he'll get first round minutes unless they're like blowing them out. I don't think he'll get legit rotation minutes. They're just so deep and stacked. But maybe. I mean, Joe Mazzulla is kind of a psychopath.
Yes.
Yeah, Nurkic had the most points for the Hornets today, according to Russell. That's super fun. Any other former Suns play today? We know McHale fouled out. Like literally fouled and got out.
What about Cam Johnson?
Yeah, let's look at Brooklyn. Where are you at? Brooklyn Knicks box score.
Devin Carter.
Man, I was so high on Devin Carter in the draft. Wow, PJ Tucker getting the start. Campaign leading. Oh no, second. Oh my God. Guess who led the Knicks in scoring today?
Campaign.
Landry Shamet. Wow. 29 points from Landry Shamet. Right. 21 points. 60 combined points between Campaign and Landry Shamet. Sorry, 50.
Crazy.
50 combined points.
Champagne getting it done in New York City. You see it. Cody Martin one-legged three.
I'm so done, man. 21 points from Campaign, 6 of 13 from the field, 7 assists, 29 points from Landry Shamet. He hit 7 threes today. Over on Brooklyn side, Cam Johnson did not play.
I enjoyed the back and forth between Landry Shamet and Detroit Pistons fans. I wish Noah was over here to have this conversation. But, yeah, they had the game. I forgot what night it was during the week, but Knicks were in Detroit, and Shamet was having some nice discourse dialogue with Pistons fans courtside, and after every three that he knocked down, he made sure to look that direction.
Yeah.
Fun to see.
Terrence says, heard the Grizzlies might be done with Morant. How do you feel about the grenade celebration?
I mean, I think it's great if the NBA is going to single you out for doing a celebration that half of the league does.
Okay.
That's cool. Fine.
Okay.
Find something else.
I'm all for celebrating.
Find something
But
else.
are we really surprised that the NBA, out of all people, they're going to single out for the gun
No,
celebration?
I'm not surprised, but that still don't make it right, though.
No, but I think it's funny. I think it's great in that video where he does the grenade celebration for the first time. He throws it in the crowd, and then like a second later, somebody flashes their camera, and so it looks like an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was fire.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if the Grizzlies are actually going to be done with Ja Morant.
Who knows?
I imagine they figure out who their head coach is going to be going in the next season first. But then they let that head coach try to get their feet wet with their franchise player in tow. And then if obviously that doesn't work out, especially early on, maybe we see Ja become available as that next superstar player. But
is Ja their best player?
He's their franchise player, but their best player this season has been Tripp 1,000%.
He's more of their franchise player than Jaren Jackson Jr.?
This season, yeah.
I think I would actually consider it with how Ja has been. I think I would consider JJJ their franchise player.
Franchise player? I don't know. He's been their best player for sure, though.
But he's been their best player for...
Tripp has been their best player for sure.
Yeah. Girth Jr. says, Erik, do you miss working behind the scenes sometimes? Interesting question. Honestly, not really. I did enjoy a lot of the editing aspects of things, but I like doing it kind of whenever. And I grinded like crazy at my previous stop and here behind the scenes, like a lot, because I love doing this and I love talking hoop. This was the dream. So I wouldn't say I miss it. I don't have any ill will towards it, but if you told me like I got to choose between the two, I would choose this for sure. It's just like my brain's more wired to do this, and I think anybody who's met me would agree with that. I'm more wired to talk, and like Noah has been so good as the third quarter ends with a buzzer beater from Doug McDermott. Jesus. Like Noah is so much better at being a producer than I was. Like it's not even close. And it's like his brain's wired to do that. And so it's like, for me, it sometimes felt a little unnatural to like force myself to be better in that area versus when I'm here, it's just like, I don't even have to really think about it that much. Like that's just how my brain works, but no ill will for it. And I still do behind the scenes stuff around here. I still edit some stuff and make some thumbnails and all of that when I have the chance, but yeah. Wow, hello with a crazy comment. What's more likely, Ja with another gun or Ant being a good father?
I'm not responding to that one.
Really?
At all.
You're not going to put odds on it?
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, Mario says, Noah took the task of reading Be Calm Super Chats. He's the real MVP. Anton says, speaking of Noah, can we get one last party time even if we lose tonight? Yeah, we'll see if we can make that happen. I'll ask Noah.
The party time, regardless of the result, could be for the end of the season. So I think that fits for sure.
Yeah. Yes, Sean and my dad, the D-backs game was awesome. Bol Bol needs to play, or it's an FU from Bud, says Russell. Yeah, I think the FU from Bud has been pretty loud and clear as we round things out here. The final quarter, Steven, of Suns basketball. No, I'm putting it in the air. It's an 11-point lead for the Kings.
Potentially.
Sean says, did Noah prepare one last amazing graphic? I don't know if he has a special graphic for today, but trust me, this offseason, he is going to be cooking up real good. Wow Factor says, Eric, do you buy the excuse that Beal needs a rest even though he hasn't played? He don't deserve and is stealing money. I do think it is actually hilarious that he was listed as out for rest. Like, he's been injured all season, and instead of just making up an injury or just saying it's his hamstring or his calf or whatever he's injured this time, they say rest. That's so funny to me, dude.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Mr. TF says, gonna miss this team. It was fun till it lasted. I don't know if I'm gonna miss them. Yeah. Remember, guys, we'll be doing a full post-game show. Once this quarter ends, I expect all of you super psychos and sickos to be there for a celebration of our final game. Wow. Even if it's in overtime, it's the last game, man.
No, you said it's a celebration. That just triggered memory for me from Chappelle's show and the Rick James skit.
I'm Rick James,
If you don't know, do your research on that one. Shout out to the GOAT, Dave Chappelle, and shout out to a legend and Rick James.
Nate says post-game, more like post-mortem.
Well, that's very true. Ugh, that's tough, Grayson.
Grayson kind of hooping a little bit.
I'm still very surprised that both Grayson and Royce made it past the trade deadline for the Suns.
Yeah.
I just didn't see a world in which both of them, if not one of them, made it past the trade deadline for them, just because they needed roster upgrades. And here we are.
Well,
finishing the season on the roster.
I think one of them's definitely gone this summer.
Yeah.
Unless you get Beal and Durant gone and the roster needs guys like that, I don't think they'll be the first ones to move.
For sure. Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
Leandro Barbosa. Shout out Brazilian Blur.
He's there?
Yeah, he's on the coaching staff for the Kings.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Hello says, I don't know how you didn't trade Tyus for a pick.
I don't think a pick was available to get him for at the trade deadline because he was not playing well at all. Might have gotten a second round pick, but
then what would Mike Budenholzer have done without his lovely Tyus Jones?
Start Ryan Dunn.
No, he still would have found a way to bench him. Monte still wouldn't have played.
Yeah, you know how that go.
Oh man, here we are. Want to just name some dudes?
69-70 in the Clippers Warriors game right now.
Wow.
7:20 left in the third.
What else is going on across the NBA?
Well, Portland's up 18 against the actually 22, against the Lakers. So there's that. Minnesota's up 10 on Utah with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Toronto is up 13 on the Spurs with 4 minutes left.
Toronto,
wow.
San Antonio.
Denver is blowing Houston out the water. I
they?
wonder if they even played their starters in the second half, though.
Rockets?
That one. Yeah, the Rockets.
Let's see. I'll go look at the box score for
Oklahoma City's blowing New Orleans out as expected.
On the court for the Rockets right now is Jeff Green, Cam Whitmore, Jock Landale, Aaron Holiday, Reed Shepard.
Okay. It's the end of the third, so that's not necessarily surprising, but I think that
Amen Thompson played 26 minutes, Dylan Brooks played 22, Alperen Şengün played 24, Fred VanVleet played 27, Jalen Green played 21. So their main guys played, but I think now it's bench clearing time.
That's what I'm getting at, second half type.
Russell Westbrook has 15 points tonight. Very even scoring distribution from the Nuggets. We are all Sun sickos, bees. We are the true psychos and sickos. Oh yeah, how are my snakes doing?
It looks like they all had super early hooks in the third quarter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I need to see how my snakes are doing. Down 2-0 to the Brewers. Yuck. Where can I find a pair of book ones on sale?
Blowing the Dodgers out yesterday, 16-0.
Who?
The Cubs.
Are you a Cubs fan?
I am. That's the one Chicago
Cubs,
team that
Bulls.
That's
Bears.
the one Chicago team that I support as a fan. If I wasn't covering the Sky, I would be a fan of the Chicago Sky as well. But
yeah, D-backs down 2-0, middle of the fourth against the Milwaukee Brewers. Corbin Carroll, 1 hit, 2 at-bats. Corbin Carroll is such a god. I love Corbin Carroll. People try to tell me Ellie De La Cruz is better than Corbin Carroll. Stupid. Grayson, brick. Oh, illegal screen. Love that. Love that for the guys.
I would just like to point out 82 games started and played in season 20 for an undersized point guard, and to be as efficient and effective as he was in terms of the team being considerably better in plus or minus with him on versus when he rested. And that included time that overlapped where Wemby was on the roster and there were Chris Paul-less minutes with Wemby on the court, as well as Wemby and De'Aaron Fox being on the court in minutes where Chris Paul did not play. For all of those things considered, I'll look up the number to be specific. Give me a minute. But they were fared well with Chris Paul on the court this season in comparison to when he was off. And for, again, an undersized point guard in season 20, that says a lot. That says a whole lot.
Maybe he'll be back next year, back with the Suns. Hello with a very important question for you, Steven.
Mm-hmm.
Can we call this game a must-win?
No.
You sure?
Because why?
Is it a gotta have it?
No, it's neither. It's a Michael Jordan shrug.
Yeah, I'd say this is the must-winniest of the must-win games. No Bol Bol still.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's terrible. Despicable. I cannot believe it.
It's a lot of things.
Oh, no. See, I like chat's a little ahead of us in a game like this. I don't care. But apparently Mason Plumlee is about to airball another shot. I'm super excited. So glad he's getting minutes over Oso.
Oh, no. Oh, good move, Grayson.
Oh, he must be pretty
Grayson's
far behind.
Pinoy step is crazy.
Russell says, why is Mason Plumlee shooting jumpers and threes? Because he hates us. Him and Mike Budenholzer hate us. That's why.
Okay, so the Spurs offense this season with Chris Paul on the court, per 100 possessions, 5 points better.
Jeez.
5 points better offensively. So,
okay, Grayson.
Yeah, Grayson's hooping.
I mean, he missed, but
he missed that one, but he's been hooping. And then I'm getting to the general numbers in one moment.
T said he didn't play Bol Bol in the home closer. You think he's going to play him today? No, I don't think he's going to play him. I just still think it's messed up.
That don't make it okay, though, right?
B says we should play the name game like we did in the 24-hour live stream. We did a lot of naming dudes in our other watch-along, Bs, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get through the whole alphabet like we did in the watch-along, but I mean, I'm down to name some dudes.
We can name, what kind of dudes are we naming?
Any dudes.
We can do it, though.
Let's just name. So we named like all time. Okay, can we name the most overrated 2K players of all time? Like 2K players that are like good, but that are high rated. But okay. I don't know why you just like.
Yeah, you can start with Jalen Williams because why is he at
89?
89? Come on, man.
Crazy. Quentin Grimes is an 85, by the way.
He's an 86 now.
Oh, is he an 86?
He got updated earlier today.
All time, I've never been good at using guys like Michael and Kobe. Like, for me, it was like, I would always drive to the rim and like dunk on people or whatnot. But when it came to like dominating in like the mid-range and whatnot, like I was never able to get it down with those guys. Like I would always rather have like a prime Russell Westbrook who could just run it down your throat. Like that type of player. But that's maybe just a skill issue for me.
I was going to say, that sounds more you than the game.
B but says Carmelo.
Overrated?
In like, in the sense of like, not overrated, but more in the sense of like high rated player who's not as good as they should be in 2K. I'm good with Carmelo. I like Carmelo.
Oh, you said not as good as
they should be.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I tend to agree with that part of it for sure.
I think Melo's fine in 2K. The new 2K games give players way too many 85 plus. MVP Turk was only given an 85, but they like scale it up, right? So it's like MVP Turk was only given an 85, but like
by the end of the season, dude was like a 95 for sure.
Well, no, but like at the same time, like guys now at the top of the game are getting like 96s to 98s.
Yeah.
Right. Back then they were getting like 91, 92.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if they've evolved the skill grading part of how they rate players, because the way you did it earlier in the mid 2000s shouldn't be the same way you're doing it in the mid 2020s.
Yeah.
Because the way that the game has evolved.
Well, and I just think they realized like people have more fun with higher rated players. So let's just make them higher rated. Like the guys were like in their 50s and 60s as role players. Now you usually only see them touch like high 60s, 70s at the lowest. Book before he was on the cover in this past year was always really high rated in 2K, or not highly rated enough, but high enough, and just was never good. Like it was so hard to use him. I like how we're just playing highlights throughout this game from other games. Anton says, I'm going to be vulnerable here and ask, did anyone else turn off intentional fouls during the My Career era so their player could cherry pick and level up faster? No, I didn't do that.
Nope. I got mine out the mud when I did play 2K.
Dude, but remember when you could get it out the mud? Like now you just have to pay to have a good My Player.
Yeah, I never paid for VC. I did use the VC that I got when I bought the limited edition.
For sure.
But I never spent my own money to buy VC. That feels very...
I would get like gift cards and stuff, and I would use it on that instead of buying like other games because I was just addicted. But like even in like the putting together like my team, I would grind the offline like challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brandon asks, what should the Suns do this offseason? I said everything is a joke. He said, what do you mean? Well, they got to find a way to trade Bradley Beal. Brandon, if they can just get off of him, they got to fire Mike Budenholzer, let James Jones
first?
Bud first, because you can do that first. Find a way to trade Beal, make changes in the front office, explore what a Kevin Durant trade package looks like, a little lefty hook. Nice. But I wouldn't just go head first into trading him unless you get a lot of value back, and then retool and draft a big or a wing. That's my very, very quick off-season thing. Bye, Sean. You're fake for leaving, but bye. Ugh.
Devin Carter and Colin Gillespie. Good defense, Oso.
There you go. How many points does Oso have? Am I close to hitting my bet?
Was he at 6?
Probably 6. Yeah, 6 points. So I have 4 more points from Oso, and I hit my bet. That'd be hilarious if I hit my bet and you and Espo don't. Respectfully. But disrespectfully. Under 7 minutes left in Ty Washington's brick and a midi. What was your favorite moment for this Sun season, Steven? And maybe this is something, Sean, I know you hadn't left. That's why I said it. Maybe this is something that we can revisit in our post game or maybe in a live show coming up. But what was your favorite moment from this season? Exactly.
I would say my favorite moment is the abundance of clarity that's been provided for them this season. And I mean that seriously, because it's like it's hard, it's tough, but it's needed for them to get to whatever the next step is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think the clarity should be valued more than anything else. So that's what I'm going to err on the side of.
I feel you. I'd say like actual moment, a lot of them come from Ryan Dunn. Shockingly enough. I hate Bud too, Russell. Dunn dunking on Giannis.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was really fun, especially because that game ended with a win, which is rare. Dunn's 3-point shooting at the beginning of the season, that was really exciting. Grayson Allen's game winner against Utah. That was fun.
Another shot clock violation?
That's about it. Career scoring record. That's a great one, Basu.
Yeah.
So his best moments, Booker getting career scoring record for Suns. Absolutely. They lost that game, though, didn't they?
To Portland, I believe.
They love losing those big games. Those freaking assholes. I got to be in the building. I was on vacation during this, and I was able to go to a Suns game because that just shows you how much of a sicko I am. Oh, Bol Bol minutes. Bol Bol minutes. Chat saying Bol Bol minutes.
Is he checking in yet?
Apparently, I know we're a little behind.
Yeah, they're sitting at the scorers table on our side.
Let's go. I got to be in the building when KD scored 30K. So that was really cool to do that against the Grizzlies, even though I'm pretty sure the Suns lost that game as well. Awesome stuff from the boys. Yeah, that dunk on Giannis is probably the best moment. Nate says favorite memory was that 8-1 start. You know, I specifically remember sitting down for a show. There you go. Oh, so 2 more points. I hit my bet.
Another left-hand hook.
I was sitting down for one of our earlier shows when the Suns were winning. And I was like, yeah, man, this team is good. I was like, they'll figure out blowing a team out and everything like that, but this team is good. I was wrong.
You weren't wrong in the moment. But long term, yeah.
Yeah. Bol Bol has checked in. Woo! Triple double time. I got to get this tweet off. Bol Bol is here to save the season. Basu says only down 11. That means they must hit a 3 here because we're a little behind.
Another Doug.
Dougie McBuckets.
Is yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
actually
tough.
surprised Bull got some minutes, though.
About time.
Crazy, that's where we're at.
Ugh, that's tough, Monte.
Milo said, I thought Bud had no bowls. Man, Markelle Fultz, man, he was the truth.
Yeah.
I was so high on Markelle Fultz.
I was too. And I even thought his when he did come back, he was good in Orlando. His defense went nowhere. But it's just the offense, man. You gotta find something to be consistent with on that end. Kind of have a full reclamation for his career.
Yeah, so Mr. TF says, looking to come to the U.S. watch Suns play next year. What are the best value seats? Front row, top bowl is great. Those might be a little pricier. You might be able to actually get cheaper tickets on the lower bowl and the very back end. But I think if you go on the sidelines, there's not a bad seat in the house. Baseline, there can be some tough ones, but I mean, a basketball arena, there are always good seats. So really anywhere.
Prize Picks?
Game Time.
Or Game Time, excuse
Prize
me.
Picks, old sponsor of ours.
Excuse me.
But yeah, go to Game Time.
Keep tabs on Game Time.
Use code PHNX. You can get $5 off your first ticket purchase. Remember, guys, we'll be doing a post-game show live right here on the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well. As soon as this game is mercifully over, Suns might cover the spread, but they also might not. We will see. Apparently Yuki is playing for Memphis right now. That's fun. That's how you know it's the end of the season. Bud looks disinterested. Yes, he does. Damn, I can't see my team play live in the playoffs this year. Nope, you can't.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry, you get Ty Washington hoops. I need Oso to score another
the
point.
Valley Suns are in the playoffs, aren't they?
They got eliminated.
Oh.
They made the playoffs.
Was it first round, second round?
I think
They got lost in the shuffle when I was away.
they might have lost in the second round.
Okay. Another Doug 3.
I need Oso. I need Oso to get 2 more points. Hit my bet. The only thing that matters this season. Jalen Bridges minutes.
Jalen Bridges 3.
Brick. Wonder. I'm gonna talk myself into Jalen Bridges being a player.
Sounds about right. I think he's a good player, but I have questions though. That goes back to the draft when we talked about him.
For sure. Looks like this one's rounding out.
A pass.
Also, I hit my bet. Let's go. Let's freaking go, man. I put $100 on it. Let's see how much I win. I win $220. So I should have really just been giving my picks out to the masses.
Oh, I wish Harrison Barnes and CP played in the second half on Friday.
Yeah.
Everything else was there for me.
All righty, folks. We are winding down here. It is almost officially over. Almost there. Oso Ighodaro ending on a high note for me, 10+ points. I thoroughly dominated the betting competition this year. And don't worry, I'm going to thoroughly dominate again. Next year, Steven, I'm calling my shot now.
Sounds good. We'll see. We'll see about it.
You know what's crazy is that when Espo won, he was talking all sorts of shit. And I still talk shit, but I'm not nearly as
Let's make sure next season that we count days at which someone led for.
I think I'd lead.
I've
been leading for like 2.5, 3 months now.
I don't agree because I was leading from early November to like mid-January.
We'll see. We could do the math.
It was the week of Christmas. I had knocked out 3 bets in a row the week of Christmas.
We'll see.
That was after the week before.
Well, we'll have to see.
I'm just saying. I would like to track it more in a more detailed manner next season as well.
Is over. The Phoenix Suns officially end the season 10 games under 500, 36-46.
Let that settle in. We appreciate all of y'all tapping in.
Yes.
Through the lows, the lower of the lows,
and
the lowest of the lows.
And don't forget the lows.
And the even lower than the lowest of the lows.
And
the highs,
the highs
that were sprinkled in. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to jump off of here. We'll jump into another stream. PHNX Suns post-game show. Give us a couple of minutes to rearrange everything and get going. And Gerald will be back on. And we will, for one last time, unite with the psychos and sickos for a post-game show. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.